Alright, I got two model related kits for Christmas. F91 keeps getting knocked around. I'm going to have to get him done and get him out of here. This is one of the two things I got for Christmas. I had a visible V8 engine when I was a kid. It was made by Revel, huge box. I ordered another one because I wanted to build another one, and the guy on eBay was unethical, listed it as complete and unbroken, and it was broken when I got it. So I decided I'm not going to build that, and I got this for Christmas, so I really don't want to build that. I do have it. I want to get rid of it. So if someone wants it, send me a message. Okay? I'll put a way of messaging me in the video description. The first person who's willing to pay for shipping, keep in mind it's a large box. I'll get a video of that box in a little bit. It's a very large box. I'll ship it with the box. I'll ship it without the box. It'll be cheaper without the box. But I'm not going to pay for shipping, but you get the item zero cost. You just pay for shipping. Anyhow, let's open this up and let's see what it's like inside. It does say mind blown on it, so it's probably going to be good, you know? Discovery probably outsourced this to some other company or some other company, you know, the licensing and all that fun stuff. This is on my short list for getting built because I remember that visible V8 and I really liked building it and I really loved running it. It says motor driven on the front of the box. Let's open it up and find out for sure. Okay. Now here we have everything printed in China. So this thing came from China. Merch Source LLC. Discovery, technical support, there's a phone number to call. I'm looking to see who it's outsourced from. It doesn't say. We have a lot of parts. We have garbage truck, so there's some noise in the background. Lots of parts. Not used to a diagram being laid out like this. I mean, it's a map. An outright map. And let's see if I can get her all open because I want to see. It's an inline 4 engine. I'm just looking for the wiring diagram. It does look like there's a distributor. There are LEDs. And there is a motor to drive it. So, this ought to be fun to build. It's going to be hard to put the directions on the screen, however. Okay, so looking at the parts. Of course, they all have to be taped down. They're already separated from the screw, so I doubt this is styrene. There's the gearbox for the motor inside there. And I'm not wanting to take it apart. It's got yellow LEDs for lights. I could change those colors pretty easily to red. And I might do that. I don't know. It might be hard to do it with the way it's wired. So I may not. Okay? It's got screws. Lots of little screws. So this probably isn't a glue kit. Okay? So there's the first bag. This will give you the size of give you an idea of the size. It's going to be about that big. So it's not going to be small. And this wasn't all that expensive, which was fun. Yeah, all the parts are pre-separated. Well, they did do it for small children for Christmas. It was found at Marshall's, of all places, and Marshall's TJ Maxx, and it was 25 bucks. It was not expensive as this amount of styrene goes. Now, this probably is styrene. But it looks like everything's screwed together. There is no, and it comes with rubber fan belts, tooth belts on top of that. Yeah, this thing isn't that small. Here's the engine block itself. It's a replica of a working engine, so almost all those parts for the working engine are there. We got some pre-assembly on this one, probably the valves. Nope, it isn't pre-assembly, they're just pieces in the bags. So, having taken a look at all the parts, they're going to be hard to get back in the box, I think. Not too hard. Let's take a look at the directions and see what we find inside those directions. It came with silicone desiccant. Probably shouldn't throw things either. Well, here's the directions. We already saw that page. the part list, there's a lot of parts of this little guy. 8 piston halves, 4 connecting rods, 8 timing cams, 1 carburetor, 4 connecting rod keepers, 8 rocker arms, crankshaft, 1 exhaust. It's a 4-cylinder, so it doesn't need 2. Timing gears, piston, exhaust valves, distributor assembly that already is pre-wired with the LEDs. And if you look at the wiring diagram on the LEDs, it does show that they do have 2 wires going in. So if that is loose, you could change the color of the LEDs. Shifting from yellow to red won't change the voltage requirements because of the same voltage. So that would be easy to do. Or I could just dip them in clear red, turn them orangish, which probably would be a better color. Because I don't see explosions in engines being yellow exactly. What videos I've seen, the more bluish. But anyhow, we got 8 springs. So you got a good part list here, and there's quite a few parts. Then we open it up, and we got to find the steps because, well, it twists around. Step 1, you're making the engine stand, and there's screws. Step 2, you put the lower crankcase on the engine stand. So the bottom of the engine stand is going to be, this part right here, is probably the oil pan. Okay. And step 3, you put the engine crank together. Now, when you did that on the visible V8, you had to put a little bit of vegetable oil along the engine crank, if I remember correctly. So it worked correct, and this says nothing about that. Probably okay. Modern plastic isn't the same as those plastics from, like 1970. Step 4 is starting to put the connecting rods on for the pistons, and then you put the piston halves together. Step 5, you put the upper crankcase on there, and you place the pistons on top of the lower crankcase, put the upper crankcase with the pistons through. Then you put the cylinder block on there and the head gasket, so it comes with the actual mock head gasket, which is fun. And you finish the cylinder block. Step 7, you put the lower cylinder head on, you put the cylinder head covers on, and lots of screws. You've got your valves that go in at that point. Okay, I haven't seen camshafts, so I'm wondering what the valves actuate off of. That's some weirdness. Maybe the camshafts are built in, but I don't see camshafts showing anywhere on this. And you have springs on the valves, so the valves are going to operate properly. Okay, but I'm used to the valves operating off, they must be operating off the cylinders, which wouldn't make any sense. If you're modeling an engine, it's kind of silly to have the valves operating off the cylinders, because you just usually operate off the camshaft. And then you put the cylinder heads on. Let's find the next step. Let's see if there's camshafts. I didn't see them in the parts, so there might not be. Okay, yep, there's a camshaft. A single camshaft, and you put it together in pieces with a long straight shaft rod. So there is a camshaft, and then you put this upper cylinder head on, and then you put the rocker arms on to help actuate the valves. And you screw down the rocker arms, and then you put the valve cover on. Okay, and then it's timing gears. You put your timing gears on, your timing belt, and you put the front cover on, and then you're putting the water pump on over here. I know I'm not doing a great job. It's because this thing's really hard to hold. And fan belt assembly on the crankshaft. And then there should be an oil pump somewhere on here. But probably not. They probably skipped out on the oil pump. And then you put the fan blade on. And then in the back you put the motor on. Okay, and it's telling you install the clutch housing. Make sure the drive module cord goes to the clutch housing. Right, because you want to be able to power the motor. So you cover the motor up with the clutch housing. So they're doing a manual transmission probably, but there's no transmission, so it really doesn't matter. And then we have the firing order of the LEDs already on the distributor. And you have the power plugs that go into the battery. One goes off the motor, one goes from the distributor, I'm probably guessing. And then you're going to put the exhaust on, the exhaust manifolds, the intake manifold, the exhaust manifold. Okay, prepare to attach intake manifold. And then we get over here, the intake manifold comes on, and last, blue carburetor piece. They really went high tech on that carburetor, can you tell? Whatever, we're not gonna. This is actually fairly realistic of an engine, but that carburetor doesn't look right to me. You know, in high school, not in high school, in college, I had a Volkswagen Bug, a 1970 Volkswagen Bug. I put a Porsche engine in it with dual carbs. And the carburetors never looked like that on that thing. And that car was kind of fun and scary at the same time. You don't want to go 120 miles an hour in one of those old 70 Bugs. Trust me on that. Anyhow, getting back to this, you got your battery box right here. The battery box plugs in on both sides. All right, I gotta go. All right, I hope you enjoyed the out-of-box review of the little 4-cylinder engine. It's on my short list. It doesn't look like there's glue or anything to it. The old Visible V8 had a lot of screws too. Anyhow, I want to get building on it, and I'm going to keep working on this little Manroni Christmas display thing. I know it's past Christmas at this point. He needs to be weathered. He needs to be painted a little bit to look correct on there. I can't just stick him on there like this. That won't take too much though, because I'm not putting any top coats or anything on him. The only thing I'm going to do is mask off this inside of this head. Okay, I can still take the head part and pull that part out and do the head separate, I think, but I don't want to do the head separate. So he still needs his weathering for this. And the base needs its plaster, and I need to do the electronics. Alright, be back later.